Hi, everyone. Welcome, welcome. Let me get in here and make sure I am where I need to be. Let's see here. Yay. I look like I am where I need to be. So welcome. I'm popping on for my weekly Wednesday Facebook Live. My name is Amanda Waltart, and you're here with Amanda's Inspiration Station. So thank you and welcome, welcome. So I have a really cute card to share with you guys today. But before we get started, I just want to go over just a few things. If you are watching me on my Facebook business page and you are not a follower of mine, I would love for you to like and follow my page. If you're watching me on YouTube and you're not a subscriber of mine, I would love for you to subscribe to my channel. It's all completely free. I do pop on here every Wednesday at 4 p.m. Central Time. I almost didn't realize what time that was. 4 p.m. Central Time. Sometimes I don't get a chance to get on here, but I always let everybody know. I'll let you know in advance. So thank you, and thank you for taking your time to watch the video. If you're watching the replay, thank you very much. And pop in, just say hi and where you're from. And if you like the channel or you like the video, please click the like button. I appreciate all of that as well. All right, so let's go ahead and let's turn you down here. So I have a super cute card today. This is a card that I actually did with some of my other fellow teammates. We do cards. We're called the Creative Crew, and we do cards for our teams monthly. So we pick like a stamp set or a bundle, and we design a card or a project with it, and then we write up a PDF tutorial, and each month our teams get these tutorials. So there are 4 of us in this group. So I don't remember what month this was because it was a couple months back. I think it was like back in January or February. This is the Share the Milkshake bundle, and this came out in back in January with the mini catalog. So I do believe it was one of those months. And I put a challenge on myself because I wanted a black and white card with a splash of color, but I also wanted my splash of color to be scraps. So today we are going to make this card, and all of these pieces are made from scraps. I literally went in my scrap bin, grabbed a bunch of pieces, and I'm going to show you what we're going to do. So besides that and the cherry, the rest of it is all black and white. So we're going to go ahead and get started with that. So I have all my fun little scraps here, and we are going to we're going to cut first, then we're going to stamp, and then we'll assemble. So let me just look at this really quickly though to make sure that let's see here. All right, so I am where I need to be. All right, so we're going to go ahead and we're going to get settled in here. And we have our card base. We're doing our card base today a little bit different with this card. We're actually going to cut it at 4 1/4 by 11. So the cardstock already comes by 11. It's usually 8 1/2 by 11. So we're going to cut it in half the long way, and then we're going to turn it and we're going to score it at 5 1/2. So that's our card base. And then we have our first layer, which is black. That measures at 4 by 5 1/4. I also have a scalloped white stitched rectangle. This is from our scallop contour dies, and this is the second to largest one. So we're just going to set those aside because we don't need those right now. But I have all my little scraps here, and I'm going to get my paper trimmer here. And what we're going to do is we're going to cut a bunch of these little guys, okay? And all it is 2 1/2. So it's 2 1/2 by 1/2. So I'm just going to kind of go up here to a half here. And what I'm going to do first is I'm just going to cut some strips. This is all just scrap paper. I love taking my scraps and just doing different things with them. They can be so useful. And a scrap, you know, okay, I'm going to throw this out there. My good friend Lori, she never gets rid of a scrap. Now, I will say I have gotten so much better since I've known her with my scraps, but I always kept large pieces of scraps, but it's questionable of what I keep for small pieces. You know what? I'm going to cut this one because we have this, and then I'm going to do this. Now, disclosure here on my scraps, there is a color in here that is no longer with us, but I already had the card made and I want to put it in there. So this is Mango Melody, and I miss you so much. I miss Mango Melody so very much. All right, so now we have our scraps here. We just want to now cut it to 2.5. So we're going to cut it to 2.5 here. And while I'm doing that, I'm going to share, since I was just talking about Lori, I'm going to finish my story here. This is a scrap that I would not keep. I would not keep that. Now, Lori probably would, and I love her for it, but I would not keep it. I have so much scraps that I pick and choose what I keep and what I don't. All right. So I'm going to pretend I didn't throw those away on camera where Lori can see. All right. So now what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to take my paper snips, and I'm going to use this one as the example here because I have them all going in a certain direction. So what I'm going to do is on the right side, I'm going to just snip at an angle, and then I'm going to totally turn it around and do the same thing. So I'm going to do that on all the pieces here. So I'm going to snip on the right side, turn it around and do the same thing. Snip on the right side, turn it around, do the same thing. And we're just giving it some angles. I think it looks better with some angles. Another thing you could do is you could actually put all of these pieces in an embossing folder, run it through the embossing folder one time if you wanted texture on your card. I left it plain, but that's an idea too. All right. Sometimes I come up with these ideas when I'm doing these videos, and I'm like, oh, I could have done that. Oh, I could have done that. Okay, so now we have our pieces all together. So let's go ahead and let's do some stamping now. So we're going to set those aside. I'm going to bring out my piercing mat and my grid paper. That is the grid paper from when we had our Stamparatus, which I love this grid paper. So I do have a couple packs of that saved because I love it so much. Okay, so we are going to do some stamping, and we also have some pieces over here for die cutting. So we need to stamp Celebrate, and we also need to stamp the straw, and then we also need to stamp the dish. However, I just realized I need to cut one of these pieces for the Celebrate, which is the same size that I did in the different color cardstock. So I'm just going to go over here and I'm just going to quickly cut this because I did not do that from my little scrap piece of white that I took for my stamping. So now I'm just going to go ahead and I'm going to snip that and turn it and snip. There we go. All right, so now I have my, I'm going to pull out, I'm going to use Stays On today. Generally when I do a black and white card, or I want something that's a really deep, dark image, I use Stays On. So I'm going to ink that up really well. Oops. Oh, look at what I did, you guys. Good thing there's two sides. Two sides. All right, you know what? I'm sorry. I feel like I'm going to have to lean my head over here. I feel like I'm also going to have to, there we go. Yeah, I don't like that. And my light, there we go. You know what we're going to do? This is what we're going to do. I'm going to cut another piece. That's what we're going to do. I don't like it. Good thing I got lots of scraps here, huh? And this is what I'm going to do. I'm going to trim one side of this, but before I trim the other, I'm going to stamp this. And you know what? I think my problem is because I'm doing white on white, and I'm having a hard time lining this up. All right. Oh, much better. All right, now let's do this. Wait, let me see. Yep. So we're gonna turn it like this and go like this. There we go. Yay, I did it. All right, we're gonna set that aside. All right, so now I'm gonna bring back this piece because I still have plenty of scrap white to do my 2 stamps. So we have our striped straw. We have our little stamped or striped straw. And then we have this image. Now this image is a little bit bigger, and I do want this image to be very dark. So I'm going to, when I want to apply a lot of ink on my image because I want it to be darker, instead of me taking my stamp and going like this, I actually pick up the ink pad because I feel like I can push it down a little bit more and have a little bit more control with it. And I'm just going to really ink that up. Now I'm going to show you. So see how dark that is? Hope there's not a reflection. But that's what I'm going to do. And then I'm definitely putting my piercing mat underneath this because it is a photopolymer stamp set. And I do want it to turn out dark. And we need that extra cushion for it. Perfect. Yay, look at that. That turned out darn good. Okay, so now our stamping's done. We are going to do a little bit of die cutting here. So I'm going to bring out my little mini cut and emboss machine. This is the one right now that is online in our online exclusives. It is still available. This color is our boho blue. It is one of our in colors. So it's super cute. All right, so I have my dies in here. And I'm going to grab I have some Post-it tape. And I'm going to grab that because I don't want to, after I just made this very pretty, perfect, perfect stamped image, I do not want to run this through my machine and then have it be crooked. We do not want that. So I'm going to use this to hold it in place. Now, if you don't have this, you can purchase this. I purchased it on Amazon. I'm sure maybe an office store might have it. I couldn't, say for sure, but I would think with Post-it they would. But another option if you don't have it is you can always use your washi. If you have washi tape, you can always use that as well. All right, so I'm just going to run this through. And we're going to set that aside there. And then there are my 2 images. Now what I do with this is you can get a couple uses out of these. So a lot of times what I'll do is I'll just put them on my machine and I'll use them quite a few times until they're not really that great anymore. And then I will throw them away. All right, so I'm going to put this away before I lose this. Oh, you know what? Oh, we have one more thing to die cut. I forgot we have the cherry to die cut and we have the ice cream to die cut. So we're going to bring this back over here. This time though, we're not going to stamp. We don't need to stamp. And I don't need this big piece. This is just a scrap though. So this is sweet sorbet and I am going to use the cherry to die cut that out. And then I have a piece of scrap black, which I'm actually going to cut in half. I'm going to double stack it because I want 2 of these ice cream scoops. And if I double stack it and I run this through my cut and emboss machine, I can get 2 out of there. So I'm going to go forward and then I'm going to go back and I will get 2 out of there. Okay, now we can get rid of this. See, we have 2 ice cream cones, and then we have a cherry. Now we are ready to assemble our card. Also, I did say this on my Facebook page. If you already currently follow me on Facebook, last week for my Weekly Wednesday, I mentioned that, oh, maybe I'll do my July's paper pumpkin kit. Clearly, I'm not doing that right now. I really didn't get a chance to go over it and look at it this week. And I thought to myself, well, I kind of want to do it with you guys, but I want to also do a couple alternative cards. So this weekend, I will be down here working after I get back from working at the credit union on Saturday, and I'm going to have that ready. So I'm going to do it next week. So for next week's Weekly Wednesday, I will go ahead and I will do the paper pumpkin kit, and I'll have a couple alternative cards. Okay, so now let's assemble this. Let's start with this first. I'm going to set aside my ice cream pieces. So let's start. I'm going to start with Petal Pink first, and I am going to get out my Stampin' Seal. And I'm actually going to start at the very bottom, right before the stitch of the stitched rectangle. Now, I don't want this to be perfect. I do want them to line up on each other, but they don't have to be perfectly lined. So I'm going to kind of put them in different orders. Like maybe some to the left, some to the right, some in the center. I'm just taking some scraps here and just placing them wherever I want to. Oh, you know what? Another disclosure. I have Bermuda Bay in here too. Gosh, I miss Bermuda Bay. I had a feeling that they were going to get rid of Mango Melody, and my heart was already heartbroken, and I was mentally preparing myself for it. And as I was mentally preparing myself for it, I didn't think for 1 second that Bermuda Bay was going to leave. And when that came out, I was heartbroken. Literally heartbroken. Because for those of you who know me, know I absolutely love bright colors. Bright colors is what I gravitate to. It's my favorites. And those are my favorites. And I was so sad. Oh, look, I got a new sheet of dimensionals. That doesn't happen very often. All right, so we're going to pile this in. And I'm going to place my ice cream dish right there. Now I'm going to, for one of these, I'm going to place flat. One of these I'm going to place this up a little bit higher than the actual dish, because I'm going to now come in and place this with a dimensional behind it. And I'm going to do it like that. Now I'm going to need a mini dimensional here for our little cute cherry. We're going to put that over there. And actually, I want to share this. You probably can't see it on the video, but with this ice cream, there actually is a little slit right there, and that's for you to be able to put the spoon in. But I did not want to put a spoon on this one, so that's why I'm putting a cherry right over top of that. And then I'm going to tuck in my straw. So I'm going to use some adhesive for that. I'm going to tuck that in. And actually, I'm going to kind of tuck that underneath this one. There we go, like that. And then we're going to need 2 more dimensionals, because we're going to just pop up the seine. And I'm just kind of going to overlap it like this. Like, let's see here, like that. And then I'm going to flip this over and I'm going to put dimensionals on the back of this because we're going to pop it up onto our black cardstock, our basic black cardstock. I'm going to line that up so that it's center. Just like that. But then I'm going to flip this over and I'm going to place this flat to the card. And we're just going to line that up. Now I have one more thing to do. I know this card looks like it's finished, but we have one more thing to do. I feel like most projects, and I'm going to say most because every once in a while I don't use it. Most projects need Wink of Stella. So I am going to take my Wink of Stella and I'm going to color over the cherry and only the cherry because I just want a splash of it. And there you have it. There's our card. How cute is that? What a great card. It gives lots of different color. It gives lots of color. It uses up my scraps. I absolutely love it. So I hope you guys enjoyed this project, this card. And how cute. What a great birthday card or any card. Just celebrate. You can put birthday in there. You can put whatever you wanted in there. There's always a reason to celebrate with ice cream. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to turn you guys back. Thank you so much again for taking the time, and I will see you next week for Weekly Wednesday. Bye, everyone.